At the heart of the film is a family living secluded from civilization. The mother is ready to do anything to protect her family. Today is her husband's birthday. Maisie, their daughter, baked a cake for her father. They look like quite a happy family. Maisie's father is confined to a wheelchair and unable to speak. Before the celebration, Rose gave her husband an injection. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Some guy said that his brother was injured. Rose didn't rush to open the door, saying they didn't have a phone. The guy kept asking for help, and eventually the woman let them in. The second guy was indeed seriously injured. The nearest hospital is over 150 miles away, so there's no time. Rose offered to stitch the wound. The guy decided to trust her. Despite the fear, Maisie helped the mother. Rose asked the guy for his name. He introduced himself as Maddie. Asking the daughter to bring towels, Rose assured Maddie that his brother would be okay. Neither she nor Maisie know that Maddie and his brother have something to hide. In the bathroom, Maddie tried to pull himself together, repeating that he's not afraid of fire, because he is fire. Rose kindly offered Maddie to have dinner and asked what happened to them. Maddie told her that because of the rainstorm, he couldn't see the road, which resulted in their accident. Before that, they were supposedly heading for a fishing trip. Maddie's story had many inconsistencies. The guest aroused Maisie's curiosity because she never interacts with other people. Rose told the daughter to go to bed. Maisie never dares to cross her mother. Finally, Jack regained consciousness. Maisie still hadn't gone to bed, offering Jack some water. He thanked Rose for her help. Jack wanted to call someone to pick them up, but there is no mobile network here. Rose explained that they have been living on the farm for a long time and don't use any gadgets. They don't need it. Rose offered the guests to stay here for the night. They didn't seem to have a choice. Maddie walked Jack into the bathroom. The guy is suffering from pain, but now he's worried about something else. The second bag they were supposed to steal is missing. Jack aggressively demanded Maddie to tell him where the bag is. That's all that matters now. Maddie said that the bag must have been left in the car. Jack wanted to make sure that the homeowners don't know anything about them. Maddie assured him that they don't know anything except their names. The mother and daughter were getting ready to go to bed when suddenly screams were heard. Maddie had a panic attack. Jack explained that Maddie was upset about his belongings left in the car. He was having a panic attack. Rose could have lent them her truck, but she thought it was too dangerous on the roads because of the rain. She asked Maddie to take a few deep breaths and then led him into the bathroom. Jack noticed a family photograph on the wall. Maisie told him that she had a brother who perished at the same time her father had an accident. Maisie hardly remembers him. Later, Jack sat next to Maddie, who asked the brother if he would ever leave him again. Jack promised that he would never do that again. Maddie misses his mother very much, who has been gone for a long time. Jack told his brother that he looks a lot like her. Rose locked Maddie in the room, explaining that she couldn't leave her daughter alone with a stranger. Rose herself was going to take Jack for their belongings. On the way, Jack asked Rose if she was a nurse and why she preferred life on the farm. Rose said she used to be an anesthesiologist, but she had to devote herself to raising the daughter and caring for the husband. Jack in turn shared that besides the brother, he has no one else. All this time, Maisie sat by the door while Maddie read his diary. Maisie had never spoken to anyone except her mother, so she didn't know how to behave properly. Despite the mother's prohibition, she unlocked the door. Rose and Jack found the overturned car near the road, while Maisie was asking Maddie various questions. She is curious about how other people live. Meanwhile, Jack told Rose that she shouldn't have seen it. Now she's an accomplice. Pulling out a gun, Jack began to threaten her, demanding to be taken to a city phone. Maddie told Maisie that he and his brother were constantly moving. It seemed strange to him that Rose and her family live secluded. The girl said that her mother usually doesn't like to have guests and offered Maddie to show him something. Despite everything, Rose didn't look scared. Jack said he did horrible things, to which Rose replied that he knows nothing about her life. Maisie showed Maddie her cozy room. She dreams of going on a trip someday. Jack called someone, introducing himself as JB. The brothers are currently wanted, so this call was risky. Jack assured Mac, the boss, that his son Michael is fine and is now on the farm with Maddie. They just need some time. They also have the money. Mac is going to come to the farm to pick up the bag. Jack advised Rose to cooperate. When that person comes to the farm and finds out that his son is not alive, he will be furious. Jack is the only one who will stand between him and Rose's family. Rose said that if anyone touches her family, they will regret it. On the radio it was reported about 3 guys on the run. It turned out that Maddie took a nurse's life and escaped from a psychiatric hospital. Maisie tried to keep her composure, while Maddie, smashing the radio, repeated that he didn't do anything wrong. Maisie said they should go back downstairs. If her mother finds out she let him out of the room, they'll be in trouble. Soon Rose and Jack returned, the latter holding a gun and ordering Maisie to open the door. Jack told Maddie that Mac was already on his way here. Rose was supposed to give medicine to her husband, but Jack ordered them to stay put. If they were obedient, they would live until morning, and neither Jack nor Maddie would be there tomorrow. Rose insisted on giving medicine to her husband. Eventually Jack allowed her to do so, instructing his brother to keep an eye on her. They only had a minute. In the kitchen, Rose told Maddie that his brother was wrong to speak to him so rudely. Seeing the headlights outside the window, Jack realized it was the police. Rose assured them that she would have made things right if they allowed her to. Jack was on edge. Maddie asked the brother not to speak to him rudely anymore, which angered Jack even more. He ordered Rose to get rid of the police. She opened the door. The police officer asked for permission to enter, explaining that dangerous criminals were on the loose. According to the latest information, they were hiding somewhere in this area. Maisie was very frightened. Maddie said he was not guilty of anything and promised to buy her a new radio. The police officer asked Rose a few questions. When Rose went to make coffee, the officer stayed alone in the kitchen with her husband. It seemed like the man wanted to say something to the officer, but when Rose returned, she assured that it was just a spasm. The police officer realized that something was amiss. Seeing Maisie's photo, the officer said that this girl had disappeared long ago with her family. Her mother's name was Bella, and Rose was not her. At that moment, Rose's husband whispered help. Jack burst out of the room, attacking the officer. A fight ensued between them. Maisie was very frightened and stayed close to her father. Knocking Jack out, the officer looked at the man in the wheelchair and recognized him. Rose suddenly appeared with a gun, taking the officer's life. Jack regained consciousness, but Rose knocked him out again. By that time Maddie was already neutralized. Rose's husband spoke, which was a shock to Maisie. Rose reassured her that it was just spasms and gave him an injection. Maisie was very frightened. Rose told the daughter that it was all for her sake. If she had allowed the policeman to leave, he would have brought trouble later. Rose dragged the unconscious brothers into the basement, immobilizing them. Later, she asked Maisie to help her cover the tracks. Maisie didn't want to, so Rose said that as a family they had to do it together. Everything Rose does is to protect the family. They moved the officer to the trunk of the police car. Maisie discreetly took his phone. Rose was planning to drive the car far away from home while Jack regained consciousness. But Maddie was still unconscious. Rose wanted to make it look like those guys had attacked the officer. Rose is worried that the officer's phone is missing. There is a risk that it could be tracked. Jack desperately tried to get out while Rose searched for the phone. Maisie doesn't understand why her mother is so afraid that they will be separated. Rose said that there are no good people. Maisie dropped the phone on the ground as if it had been lying there. Despite everything, Maisie fully trusts her mother. Maddie also regained consciousness. Being immobilized, he panicked. The brother calmed him down, asking him to stop behaving like a child. Right now they need to stay calm to get out. It's obvious that Rose is dangerous and hiding something. The question is, what exactly? Despite all their efforts, the brothers couldn't free themselves from the handcuffs. They were trapped. Maddie had a knife with him all this time, which could be used as a lockpick. Rose thanked the daughter for her help. Maisie just wants her mother to always stay close. Right now Maisie is very scared. Rose knows that someone must come to the farm, so they need to hurry. Finally, the brothers managed to free themselves and found a way out of the basement leading directly outside. Maddie doesn't want anyone to get hurt. He believes that Rose only wanted to protect Maisie, nothing more. But Jack isn't so naive and understands that Rose is not who she claims to be. Right now the brothers can only escape with Mac's help. Additionally, they need to get their money back. Jack told Maddie to hide in the barn, but he no longer wants to obey his brother's orders. Maddie still can't forgive Jack for leaving him in the psychiatric hospital. Jack is tired of this. The younger brother not only took the life of a nurse but also Michael, although his old connections were very valuable to them. Right now the brothers are in a very difficult situation. Maddie continued to whine, and then Jack, unable to bear it, told him the truth. They didn't end up in the orphanage because their mother passed away. The truth is, she abandoned them because she couldn't bear Maddie anymore, who as a baby, cried incessantly. Maddie doesn't want to believe it, but it's obvious that his brother is not lying. Eventually Maddie complied and went to the barn, while Jack sneaked into the house through the window. Maddie was on the verge of a panic attack. Looking around the room, Jack realized they were dealing with a truly dangerous person. The mother and daughter arrived. Maisie thinks they should go far away, but Rose has no intention of leaving the house. She's the mistress here. In one of the rooms, Jack found a weakened, disabled woman. It's obvious that this is Bella, who disappeared with her family after a car accident many years ago. Bella's husband and their daughter, who is actually named Jenny, are Rose's captives. Bella asked Jack in a weak voice for help, but of course he can't call the police. Rose told Maisie to stay here until she dealt with the guys. Holding a gun, Rose went to the barn, suspecting that one of the guys was hiding there. Jack tried to get out of the room, but it was securely locked. All attempts were futile. Bella begged Jack to put her out of misery. All she wants now is to sleep forever because this isn't life. Eventually Jack took pity on her and did it. After that, he cried. The situation was truly desperate. Taking Bella's cross and their family photo, Jack was going to escape through the window. Meanwhile, Rose was searching for the guys in the barn. Maddie had been hiding here all this time. Rose found him. Maddie said the brother abandoned him. Right now the guy is very upset. The truth about the mother broke him. Rose said her mother was also bad. Maddie reminded her of Ollie, her late son. Maybe they should stick together. Rose promised Maddie she would take care of him and hugged him. Finally, Jack managed to get into the house through the front door. Due to his injury, it's hard for him to walk, but right now it doesn't matter because Jack needs to find the money. Taking the bag, he was about to leave but fell. The pain is getting worse. The stitches came undone, so Jack had to use a stapler. Mac is already on his way. Seeing the overturned car on the roadside, he understood that the brothers are somewhere nearby. Maisie entered the house. At that moment, she was grabbed by Jack, demanding to know where Rose was. Meanwhile, she cut off the electricity throughout the house. Jack told Maisie that Rose had been lying to her all this time and ordered not to make a sound. Rose entered the house, Maddie following behind. Jack explained to Maisie that her real name is Jenny. Rose lost her son, daughter, and husband in the accident. Bella, Jenny's real mother, was in another car. Rose took Bella's daughter and husband to replace her own family. It was also a punishment for Bella, the one responsible for the accident. Jenny doesn't want to believe it, so Jack showed her a photograph. He lied to Jenny that he didn't know where her real mother was now. Jack wasn't going to stay here and convinced Jenny to take her father and leave with him. There won't be another chance. Of course Jack is not doing this for Jenny, but right now he is the only one she can trust. Jenny wheeled her father to the car. Jack can't leave without his brother, but Maddie is nowhere to be found. Jack told Jenny to wait here and went to look for him. Dragging the bag of money behind him, Jack returned to the house. Maddie stood on the stairs and said he wanted to stay with Rose. At that moment she shot, wounding Jack. Maddie called Rose's mom, saying that she would now take care of him. Jack said that he and Jenny know the truth. Rose believes her actions are justified, as Bella took away her family. Jack snuck up on Rose from behind, knocking her out. He was going to finish what he started, but Maddie stopped him. Knocking out his brother, Maddie cried and screamed, then went to Rose. Jenny helped Jack up and led him out of the house. Rose and Maddie pursued them, forcing to hide in the barn. For Rose, the most important thing now is to get Maisie back. Jenny asked Rose if it was true that she wasn't her real mother. Rose claimed that she was her mother. It was Rose who raised Jenny and took care of her. Mac and another guy, Duncan, arrived. Jack and Jenny ran away. A shootout ensued between Rose and Mac. Jenny got into the car, while wounded Jack told Mac that the money and his son were with Rose. But Mac, who found their car along the way, already knows that the son is not here. He knocked out Jack, who begged for help. Maddie yelled at Mac not to hurt Jack, but Mac wasn't going to be ceremonious. At that moment, Maddie confessed that he was the one who took Michael's life. Rose said she doesn't need the money and Jack, but she won't give up Maddie. Mac admired Rose's bravery. Seizing the moment Jack wounded Mac, and Rose fired a shot, taking his life. Maddie in turn wounded Duncan. Jenny, who was behind the wheel, drove straight at him, neutralizing him once and for all. After some time, Jenny told everything to the police. Her father is okay, but Jenny still doesn't know where her mother is. Rose now considers Maddie her son, and Jack shares the fate of Bella. The police never managed to catch Rose, who took her imaginary family far away.